Okay, guys, what is up, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dylan Haugen. I'm a dunker, podcaster, content creator, and recently I've been doing a lot with digital marketing, the NSU, and the BlitzMetrics team. And today, guys, I'm going to be talking about custom GPTs, how to make them, how to edit them, how to make them perform the way you want to, some things to look out for while you're doing it so that you do not have the same issues that I had when I was making mine, and then how to publish them as well is something that I think isn't as well known as it should be. So, yeah, I've made two custom GPTs. One of them I spent a lot less time on than the other one. The one that I spent more time on, I spent around 4 to 7 hours on, because I didn't know much about how to do it. And the next one was a lot easier to make and kind of perform the way that I wanted it to. So I'm going to be giving you guys some examples of some custom GPTs that the BlitzMetrics team has made, and then I'll show you guys the ones that I've made and, some things to look out for when you're making your own. So I'll share my screen real quick. Go to ChatGPT. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, oh, well, I'll just show you guys some examples first. So this is one of the ones that we use at BlitzMetrics. It's named Jennifer, and it is an article grader. I showed you guys this one in a different video, but basically, if we were to take an article, so this is not an article, whatever. I'm sure you get the point. But basically, you take an article, paste it in here, and it's got all these standards. As you can see, some of these like preset questions are like evaluate how well this article aligns with our EEAT standards, stuff like that. Like it's got all the PDFs and stuff attached to it, so it understands what the goals are of the articles that we make, and then it gives you good grades, or not good grades. It gives you strict grades on, how you can improve. So a lot of the times, I'll have an article that I just, repurpose a transcript for and then throw it in here and then it'll give me like a D or something like that. If you guys watch the video on how I repurpose transcripts into articles, you'll see that this literally gave me a D on the first one, despite ChatGPT doing it. So you'd think it would be a little bit better since ChatGPT is the one making it. But a lot of the times, ChatGPT has problems. It lies to you. It's not honest, and we'll go over some of that today and how you can avoid it with these custom GPTs. But this one has been super great for me. It's helped me a lot with, learning how to make articles and blog posts. So this is one example. Another one, well, we can just go to Explore GPTs actually. Um, the other ones are, this one's a local service website auditor. So it can, the goal of it is to audit websites. This one is a knowledge panel helper. So I did a video on knowledge panels. So you guys can check that out. This one is a blog post helper. So it transforms like video content into articles, stuff like that. I haven't really used many of these except Jennifer. But this one has proven to be great. And yeah, so we'll look at mine real quick. So this is Dunk GPT. Like I said, I'm a dunker. Love dunking a lot. And I'm just going to be doing some kind of live editing of this custom GPT so I can show you guys, how it works. So what you're going to do is go to edit chat. Well, actually, if you want to make one, you just go to right here, say create. But since this one's already made, we'll just do this. It'll be a lot easier. But once you get in here and you're editing it, it should look something. It didn't work. Oh, all right, there we go. It should look something like this. So, for example, let's just ask this thing a question. Um, how tall is Dylan Haugen? So I should preface this by saying that this already has quite a bit of configuration going on. As you can see, this is the instructions right here, which I'll talk about more of in a second. But it says this GPT is an expert on the world of professional dunking, specifically focusing on pro dunking rather than NBA players. So the reason that that is there is not because I hate NBA players or something like that, but it's because every time I would say, who are the best dunkers in the world or something like that, or what are the best dunks ever done, it would say things like, Mac McClung or Aaron Gordon did this, and it's like, yes, those are very good dunkers, but the entire top 10 was like NBA guys, including guys like, George Gervin, Julius Irving, like guys that are good dunkers, are really skilled basketball players, but aren't necessarily like top 10 simply professional dunkers of all time. So the goal of this is just to be a professional dunking GPT. So that's why that's there. And while you see things like that, you just put them in to the create section right here. So that's funny. But how tall is Dylan Hagen? Dylan Haugen is 5 feet 11 inches tall. Okay, so I got it right. We're gonna go until it gets something wrong, and then I'll show you guys kind of how to fix it. I'm trying to think of more things here. Um, I'm trying to think of things I like haven't done with this. I did a lot. I probably spent like 4 to 7 hours on this, so long time. But um, this is difficult. Just say like, we'll just try it with this one more person. Donovan Hawkins, 6'3". That is incorrect. Donovan is 6'4". And so things like that, you can just fix it. So go over here to the create side and just say it, currently says Donovan Hawkins is 6'3", but is actually 6'4". I'm going to blame my poor typing skills today on the fact that my mic is here, so I'm a little bit farther away from my computer than I would like to be. My desk is tiny, but see, it'll have this thing here. It says updating GPT, and then it'll restart the preview here on the right side, and then we'll see if it works. Something like this should really not be taking this long, but yeah, it can sometimes take a minute to update it because you're literally like rewiring your, GPT. So stupid bug. All right. Here we go. So it's loading up the preview. And as soon as this does it, how tall is Donovan Hawkins? Donovan Hawkins is 6'4". Now it's got it right. So, for one like this where I'm literally trying to kind of teach the AI all about professional dunking, basically, it's a little bit different. For the article grader one or something like that, you can import like PDFs and stuff like that, which I'll talk about in a second. Very important note that I really want you guys to hear if you're going to try to create one of these. So, but yeah, for something like this, the goal of this GPT, which I kind of fell out of doing just because of time, I'm working a job and stuff like that. But the goal for this was to teach this thing enough about dunking that it could eventually. How do I did not mean to stop that, but let me pull it up here for you guys. But the goal of it was basically to teach it enough about dunking to the point where I've mentioned this in previous videos, but like kind of like the more you teach AI about something or the more creating things that you do, like the more AI can just do in general. Like if I teach AI, um, if I feed AI like 3 transcripts about me and then publish, the articles that it creates based on those transcripts online, then I could theoretically, create an article that is related to those 3 transcripts, but about a completely different topic. And then so it's just like this infinite loop of, more and more and more content. So the goal was kind of something like that. Um, Teach it enough about dunking that then I could eventually like make a website with a bunch of dunk definitions, dunker profiles, stuff like that. Um, I just never had time for it. So basically, this is something that I made using the AI dunk definitions, and I had to go dunk by dunk. But eventually, if I were to train it more, it could do it itself. There's quite a few on here. Um, it even came up with this like sort of system, which is super cool. Um, But yeah, and it gets all of these are like generally correct, I'd say. I don't think any of them are wrong. I don't think I allowed any of them to be wrong. But for example, a crown says a dunk where the dunker completes a two-hand reverse dunk but finishes by hanging with both elbows inside the rim. That's correct. And so yeah, the cool thing about this is that the more it knows about one dunk, so for example, an under both, if it can define an under both and then it can also define a 360, then if I ask it what a 360 under both is, it theoretically should be able to give me a concise answer that is consistent with what, is a 360 under both in the dunk world. And so that was kind of the goal of it. But unfortunately, I had some issues, which can be seen on here, where the AI will not I don't know what the right word is. Like, I don't want to say unintentionally because it feels a little intentional, but indirectly lie to you. So I was having an issue with this part right here with the instructions where, I have all these instructions, but it looks like there's really not that many instructions, right? Despite me spending so much time on it, why is there so little instructions? Because every time I found an issue with it, I was putting it on this side, and that was all I was doing. What I really should have been doing is documenting everything in PDF form, which I did start doing eventually. But basically, I was spending tons of hours on this custom GPT, right? Trying to configure it to finally understand like what dunking is, but then it was lying to me. So that section right there that is called, the instructions, it was not putting things in the instructions, or it was, but then it wasn't saving them forever because it had a character limit. And the character limit, I believe, is 8,000 characters, but it never specifically said that. And one time I confronted it about, oh, like I put all these instructions here about this specific thing. Why is it gone? And it would just be like, oh, I just did it to like save space, make it easier to read, but like I still know it and I still have it. Um, but the more and more I used it, the more it became clear that it did not have it. It did not remember these things. It did not know. So I started taking screenshots to kind of document this so I could show you guys later on. Um, right here. This is kind of me confronting. It says, like, I do not have everything I previously gave you, so getting everything back will take time. From now on, I want to make it very clear, and please put this into the instructions or something so you never forget that I never want you to delete the valuable information that I give you from the instructions, right? Like, I was frustrated. I was spending all this time on it. I was giving it these instructions, then it was just deleting them. And so then it made this promise to me. I have now added a permanent instruction stating that I must never delete or remove any valuable information that you provide. And, I was kind of messed with it. I said, how do I know you won't delete that instruction as well? And basically, it just said, like, I will do that. But I kept noticing that it was happening despite having these very clear rules until eventually I did start documenting everything I told it in a Google Doc. And then I tried to copy and paste everything in that Google Doc into the instructions, and I hit the character limit. And then I was like, are you kidding me? Like, there's a character limit on this. That makes sense, obviously, but why wouldn't it tell me that at the start? Like, oh, actually, I clearly asked it, like, why are you deleting things from the instructions? The reason it was deleting things from the instructions is because of the character limit. And so when I said that, why didn't you tell me the instructions have an 8,000 character limit? Is this why stuff is getting deleted just to free up space? And it said, you're right to ask about this. The 8,000 character limit is a real constraint, but I should have told you about it earlier. So it literally knows that it lied. It told me that it lies. And then, yeah, it's just crazy. And so it gave me two options, which I should have really thought of earlier, but that's what I'm telling you guys is going forward, we have two options. I can either prioritize the critical info, which is what it had been doing the whole time, which is obviously it's reasonable, but if you don't understand that it's going to be deleting information, that's obviously unfair to you as well. Um, or it also gave me the option to store external dunk lists on Google Docs or some sort of other document source and then put them in there. So I'll show you guys where you can do that. But it says upload files here. So what I should have done, and if I ever come back to doing this, that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to, for a dunk list like this, I'll have it generate a bunch of dunk lists, generate a bunch of dunk definitions and stuff like that. And then once I'm done or satisfied with it, I'll simply take that document, throw it right here into the knowledge so that I no longer have to, rely on this instructions, which is clearly limited. So yeah, it was very disappointing, but I hope you guys can kind of see why this is important. That's why I wanted to make a video on it, because if you don't understand these things about custom GPTs before you make them, you'll make the same mistakes as me. You'll spend a bunch of time on it, and in the end, you'll be disappointed with your final product. And that's the reason I never publicly shared this thing, because I wanted it to be something really cool that people could ask about dunking, they could mess around with, and we could all like kind of help build it together. But then I was just not happy with it because of the lies I was told by ChatGPT about why I was deleting things. So now I have a good foundation. If I ever want to revisit it, I could. But yeah. So another thing I want to go over, the last thing, is how to publicly share these. So if I were to want to publicly share this, I could hit this button right here, which says share, and then copy link. But you have to make sure that this right here, this access, says anyone with the link. And I believe you can actually put it on the store as well. I should probably just do that. Yeah. I'll do it later because there's really no point at the actually, no, I'll do it right now. So I don't really know. I guess we'll say research, analysis, whatever. I don't really know. There's not a one that really makes sense for that. So now this is just out there, or it's about to be anyway. So now anyone can see this, but you can, yeah. So just go to the access, say either GPT store, then it's public to anyone. You can copy the link, share it with people, and I believe people that do not have ChatGPT Plus can still use custom GPTs, which is really cool. Um, because I know that I used it on my phone before I had logged into this account and stuff. So, yeah, it's definitely cool. I definitely recommend you guys doing this. One thing at BlitzMetrics that is highly emphasized is like share everything you do publicly. Like, especially in your work where you're working on things, like there's no reason not to share everything publicly. Obviously, there's some things that you shouldn't be sharing, but like at the end of the day, people are more likely to work with you if they see the things that you're doing, they see that they work, right? So obviously you can kind of sell like this mystery product and kind of convince some people, whatever. But at the end of the day, sharing free information is so valuable because sure, there are going to be people that, take that information and go use it, but the majority of people, will see it, they'll look at it, but they won't act on it. Most people don't act on free information, even if it's just blindly handed to them. It's really crazy to me because I obviously try to do the opposite, intake information and then apply it places in my life. And I highly advise you guys to do the same. Like if you're gonna spend time watching something, spend time doing the thing, implementing it into your process and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I'm just a big fan of sharing free information is because at the end of the day, people are going to filter themselves out. They're either going to use it or they won't. And at the end of the day, it's just going to benefit you because you're the one sharing it. You're the one building your credibility, your authority. Um, and yeah, so guys, that was how to use custom GPTs, how to make them, how to publish them, some things to look out for. Like I said, guys, definitely be careful with this, and let me know if you guys have any other findings with custom GPTs or just ChatGPT in general, because it is a really interesting thing that you have to use a lot to like really understand. And I'm not even at, full comprehension of how it works or anything like that yet. Just beginner, but like I said in, some other videos, I'm just trying to learn, do, teach, learn the thing, do it, and then teach it as best as I can just to document it and then obviously repurpose this in as many ways as possible. So again, guys, just thank you for watching this video. If you're new, make sure to subscribe, drop any comments, drop any questions you have. Love to talk about this stuff. And yeah, guys, again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.